Hi, this is Nick George with Cloud's Diamond Sharpening with a AGC Clipper repair demonstration. Okay, so this is a clipper, an old clipper that I had in my junk pile, so we're just gonna refurb it. That means recondition it, put all the bad old parts, put new parts, and then all the good parts use. So first thing I notice is there's no cord, no cap. Looks like it's missing a plate underneath there, so it probably doesn't run very good. See, it's very loud. It's probably missing a seal, or it's wore out in there. I don't know. It looks like it's just flopping around though. So let's take this apart. First thing we do is hook a new cord up to it to make sure that this thing runs. I'm sure it runs or I wouldn't have it, but sometimes they don't, and I just use the good parts off them. Okay. Let's plug this in. That's very horrible. Very bad. If your clipper sounds like that, please send it to me. It needs immediate attention. Thank you. Here we go. Let's break this bad boy apart. So we seen the switch was good, and obviously the cord's good since it's brand new. So let's take the drive off. Nice. It's stripped. So, well, lucky we gotta take the motor apart anyway. So, let's take all this off. Okay. The drive won't come off because it's stuck. See, the insert's stuck in there. But, take the brushes out just to clean the erosion off them if they have any, because you don't want your clipper to stop working because there's corrosion around the brushes, because then you might think it's an armature and then you'll repair the armature and it won't be, and then you'll waste a lot of money. Okay, so we check the cam. The cam is good. Take the motor. The contacts look pretty good, a little black. I'll take care of that. Put it on the polishing wheel for a second. And there you go. Looks a lot nicer. Okay. And what do you know, it's missing the seal. And there's a good seal down in there though. Alright, let me find some pieces. Here we go. Make sure these inserts don't pop out, since we're going to use a used one. So you want to make sure your inserts are good. If you strip a screw going in it, it isn't going to come off very easily. As you can see, you can get it off there, but trust me, it takes some effort. But anyway, we'll just throw that away. Okay, so this has an insert. See the insert? Little rubber thing. Okay. So put that on. blow out your field. Okay, see this rubber seal? This keeps the hair out. If this is missing, this is not the reason your clipper's not running. It may be the reason there's hair in your clipper, but it has nothing to do with it running. Now sometimes these magnets break off, and this is a DC motor. So what that means is it has no fan, because it's magnetic driven. It's in a magnet. AC one would be like an Oster, and they have a fan, and what that means is electricity travels through wires to cause this rotation pull with these copper wires, and then electricity flows through, blah blah blah. I don't want to explain the whole motor, but anyway, so this is DC, so this won't get hot because it doesn't have a fan. It doesn't have electricity going through there. So if this is getting hot, it's either these posts are shorted together and it's too much electricity going through, so it's going to cause heat, or one of these magnets is broken off, and what it will do is rub the side of this, and then it will cause it to get real hot. Now if you think your Andis clipper is getting hot, and you take the blade off and run it for an hour without the blade and it doesn't get hot, that means it's the blade getting hot and the heat transfers. So heat transfers from one object to another. Like if you rub your hands together for a long time, it's called friction, and it'll cause heat. And then if you touch something else, it'll be warm to the other object because heat transfers. So if you say, it's my clippers, my blades aren't getting hot, then if you run it without a blade and it gets hot, then you have a problem with the clipper. But if you run it with the blade for 30 minutes to an hour and it gets hot, it's probably the blade getting hot and then it transferring through all this metal and then through the housing. So make sure you check that first. Make sure that you check it without a blade, because most of the time it's the blade getting hot and not even the clipper, because these are DC. Now they can get hot if they have problems. So you line the little notches up, put these clips back on. A little grease in the bearing. You don't have to do this, I just do it. Just make it look nicer. And make sure it ensures it running smooth. Okay, put the brushes back in. Remember, they have a bend in them. So you want the bend to follow the shape of the armature. If the brush is hard to put in, then that means you put it in wrong. See, just like that, I just did it. So you put it along the bend, stretch the little springs out just a little bit. If they're a little close, you want them about a ½ inch probably. Set it straight up. See if the spring's sticking straight up, there's a little nipple on this. You want to line that nipple up with the spring, or you're going to smash your spring, and then your brushes won't make full contact. See, so you can see the springs and they're straight. Well, you probably can't, but I can. Okay, about a ½ inch. Set it in there. Then take this little bad boy, put it on the nipple. Uh-oh, we dropped the spring. There we go. And if you want to check it, you could take this switch here, Make sure there's nothing metal touching the switch. So there you go, it sounds a lot better. Okay, I could touch these. These are these are DC. AC shock me right there. Don't touch that. DC, AC, converter, PC board. So there you go, there's the basic running Andis AGC. So it sounds all good. I'll just disconnect these for now so I can put this in easier. Oh look, looks like I serviced it 8 years ago, 9 years ago. That was me. It's my signature. Alright, so you put the switch back in, put the clips back on. All these clips do is transfer electricity or DC to the brushes. So what I do is I fold these wires under the switch just to ensure that they don't get caught in the switch, and make sure that your clipper turns on and off all the time. If your clipper has like when you turn it on high speed and it stutters or whatnot, then then maybe you gotta bend these out a little bit so this travels all the way forward. But if it's traveling all the way forward, it's still stuttering, then see these? You bend them down a little bit. Be careful, don't bend them too much. You bend that one down, and then you squirt electronical cleaner up in there. Not water, not oil, electronical cleaner. So that switch feels pretty rough. So I'm gonna walk over here, get my electronical cleaner. And this is not water. Do not squirt water in your switch. It won't be pretty. And I am not responsible. So what this is doing is cleaning all the contacts off from all the corrosion over the years. Hold on one second, I have to turn on my air compressor. Okay, that should be enough air. Okay, so this controls the 2-speed. This is the fuse to the power. If this is burnt, most likely it's wet in here, and you're going to need to replace the armature because you already done shorted it out. That's just 90% of the time when these are burnt. Usually it's because it's shorting out in here and it's conflicting, the powers hitting each other and shorting out, and it blows that fuse instead of catching your clipper on fire. But if this is burnt and you replace this with a new one and this is still wet, this is gonna burn out again. So what I recommend is if you do your own switch and it's burnt out, then you plug this in. Now if you break the switch, don't call me and say you want a new one, because I'm not gonna give you one. I'll do this for you if you want for $15 plus parts. Anyway, you can switch that, hook it all back up, plug it in, and when you turn it on, go like this, real fast, and you'll hear like a burning sound. If you hear that noise, this is gonna blow again. So you might as well take this back off and replace this armature. It's your only option. It is the only option. Okay, so if this is burnt, you're probably going to need this. You could try drying it off, blowing it out. I've never seen it work after that, but you could try. It's worth a try, save you $50, because that's how much this little thing costs. So, if you do hear a burn, you you either take that switch back out and use it on another clipper, or buy a new armature and then put the new switch back in. So if this is burnt out, it's probably going to be a $70 repair. Unless you got the old style without these rings on it and they were just weak fuses and they would burn out after use of an hour or two. Some of them. But anyway, let's put this back together. So I'm going to get my drive here. Okay, I know this is a good drive simply by looking at it. Come on, you dumb camera. Okay, now that I got it in focus. See how this metal thing is perfectly straight? That's good. If these are bent up and this is like a U, a little bit of U right here on the metal, that means there's going to be that much play. That means this little lever right here is going to move how much ever distance is left on there. Now, that is not the only way you can tell if a drive is good. You look inside of this. See how this is perfectly, there's no rounded edges. If you have a bad cam, it'll melt that, and then you already know if that's melted, you might as well replace the cam and this. Okay, now another area. See this? See how it's not cut off on the edges or in the front? That's good. You want it to be the most that it can be because that's the most travel you'll get. Man, this camera. So make sure this is good and these are good and this is good, and make sure none of these are broken. Okay, now when you're putting a drive back in, see, there's a little bit of these two little lips right there. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you take it right here. See those little things? Those little notches go in there. So you put them in the path. If they're not in the path, it won't snap down. And then you'll look under here and you'll see these little ears, they'll be bent. See how they're straight? That's good. So it's on there straight. So now I take my drive screws, get a drive screw out of my little collection here. So these videos are to help y'all, and and to be honest with you, if you could do the repair, I would recommend you try it. But if you don't think you can do it, don't try it. Because if you break other stuff, then I gotta replace it when it comes to me. So please don't break things that don't need to be broken. If you drop your clipper and this is rubbing your armature, that tells me you broke it or you dropped it. Just because there's no way a magnet will just fly off this metal unless you drop it or hit it on something. But anyway, let's put this back together. Oh, we're missing a screw here, right here. We need to find that. What that could do is if you don't put both of them on, your switch may not go to full speed or it may not stay in full speed. So you turn this to the off position. I'll show a video later on how to repair this. On how to repair this, and what you need to do is when this isn't locking, it's because there's hair in there. You take these two off, you got to make sure you put the red thing back on. I'll show a YouTube video later. I'm just trying to get my videos back up since YouTube messed up and lost all my videos. But anyway. So you put the wire back in, turn it to the off position, off position. Oh, I'm gonna put a new housing on this. What am I doing? Sorry, guys. This is still a good housing, nothing broken on it, but if I gotta resell it, I sell it with a new housing. So we'll put a green one on it today. And don't use this overpowered drill on your clippers, or you will have a lot of strips things. A lot of strip plastic. Alright, both off positions. Cords out of the switch area. That's good. It should go together pretty easily, which it's not. So there we go. Just need some minor adjustments. Put the bigger screws over here. They're different sizes. And I've also, someone tried to blame me for doing it. They're different sizes. This goes in the bottom, this goes in the top. I would never put this in the bottom, so yeah. Their complaint went very little with me. Okay, so now that it's all together, you might as well test it, see if you wasted your time or not. If it doesn't run, then obviously you wasted your time. But if it does and it sounds like a champion, then you didn't waste your time. Look at that. Oh, you can't stop that bad boy. There's a little rattle in it because the hinge is not on it yet. So we'll put the hinge on it. Remember your keeper there, you want to put that bad boy back on, or it'll rub this and it's not going to sound well. And then your clipper could get hot also without the blade. So if you remove pieces, there's also ways to get heat. Now this is where you want to be careful. This screw is bad, so let me find a new one. I found a brand new one. Okay, so when you're putting the hinge on, the best way to do it is where you don't mess something up, is either have a lock on it, or when it goes all the way down and it starts to stop moving, let me get my better screwdriver. And that's another thing, make sure your screwdriver is big enough to go correctly in here so you don't strip these. Okay, now that they're snug, you go one little bitty turn. See that little bitty turn? When they're snug, go one little bitty turn. And that's it. If you go more than that, you're going to be stripping that, and then you're going to be buying a new motor frame. Minimum $25 parts and labor. You already messed up there. Okay, now if you can pick this hinge up, the hinge is bad. Make sure your latch is good. You're missing the latch, your blade might pop up, leave lines. You don't want that. Put the cap back on. The cap goes over here. Okay, now if you're missing this foam, it's not a big deal. Just make sure you clean the hair every once in a while, because it'll get hot and melt that plastic. But I mean, this is not going to stop your clipper from running. You could probably use it without the cap. Or you can use it without the cap. I know a lot of people that do. But it's better to have on there just so you don't have to clean it all the time. So here we go. Now let's try it with a blade. Hopefully this don't sound like a train wreck, or I'm gonna have to delete the video. I'm just kidding. It ain't gonna sound bad, because everything's good on it. I checked everything. So that runs perfect. second speed, locked, first speed, locked, off, locked, cord, good, blade, good, not unlatching. See how it doesn't move at all? That's good. If your blade's going like this while you're grooming, you're going to leave lines and you're going to ruin that lever, and that's not fun. So, well, there you go. There's an AGC repair. If you have any questions, please comment on my YouTube videos. I'll get to you as soon as I can. If you got any hate, just leave it somewhere else and go to another sharpener's website. Thank you. Have a good day. Keep it sharp, y'all.